What's going on, fam? Back with another video. Hope you guys have been doing well. For today's video, we're going to go through the charts. We have some really nice updates to show you guys for Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as our other base native token assets. Toshi is looking quite good, and I will actually be covering another base native protocol on base chain, which is Zora. So be sure to watch to the end of the video because I will be covering that. But without further ado, I'm Dope Oxide. I make content on YouTube, X, and CoinMarketCap, so be sure to follow those pages. Be sure to like and subscribe, and let's get right into it. First of all, for liquidations were actually decent in the past 24 hours. We actually hit $330 million, with majority being on the long side once again. The past 24 hours, we actually had the long short ratio getting closer to that 50-50 I was telling you guys about. Yesterday, I told you since the long short ratio was nearly a 3% differential, with it being mostly on the long side, I did tell you guys to expect a consolidation period, if not a really small pullback, which we just got, with Bitcoin actually dipping from the 116.3k area to now 113.9. And nonetheless, nothing has changed. I do expect a leg up to the upside, and the thesis has been for consistent all-time high runs for the duration of Q4, and I really do think that November is the time for Bitcoin and our other base native token assets to shine. So first of all, for liquidation heat map, we're actually getting quite a bit of liquidations getting built up at 110k area. But really, when it comes to Bitcoin really looks like it wants to retest previous resistance levels as support. One thing to notice as well is we do expect a breakdown to happen if this small little lower time frame trend line actually breaks down. As you guys can see, if Bitcoin actually breaks down the 113.3k level as it stands right now, I would not be surprised a larger pullback happens for Bitcoin, which will obviously mean a pullback for our other base native token assets. It actually has some nice confluence with the trend line with our major resistance area. On the 21st of October, we had a nice little scan pump to the upside, which we tested it as resistance. And we've actually tested this as resistance multiple times. So it would be really nice for once for Bitcoin to actually test this as support and actually have a resistance to support flip. And we can actually have another run to the upside, potentially actually having an all-time high run for this month. But let's see where we go, because time is ticking for October to actually have an all-time high. So once again, Bitcoin's looking quite good, but we just have to be patient. Next up is the Ethereum to USD chart. Ethereum to USD is actually looking quite similar, where we had a nice little pullback today. We had a nice little flip of liquidations, and I do expect more short liquidations are getting built up for another squeeze to the upside. So when it comes to Ethereum, we're testing previous resistance levels as support right now, and our major support level is around the $4,060 area. And as long as we hold this, I do expect continuation to happen and a really nice run to the upside for our base native token assets. But when it comes to Toyo 3 and others, really same thing. There isn't much updates to show you guys. We had a really nice wedge breakout to the upside, and we were right in the midst of that. So when it comes to that wedge target, so if we draw out the length of the wedge, go to the breakout point, we can see that the target is around the $286 billion area. So I would not be surprised that we have our first larger pullback once we hit that area, and then we can have a nice consolidation and then a breakout to the upside. Next up is the stock market, and as you guys can see, the stock market is going absolutely bananas. It's pretty clear, if you guys haven't already been convinced, that the stock market is in a major parabolic move, just like gold was. And really, we need to start drawing up trend lines, because these kind of parabolic moves tend to have a massive crash to the downside once the parabolic move is complete. And as you guys can see, this is quite a good trend line to actually hold here, because if you actually look, this trend line that has actually been put in place since basically May of this year. And as long as we hold this trend line, I do expect the stock market to continue making new all-time highs. But if we were to break down, I do expect a larger pullback to happen, if not the macro top for this cycle, because of course I really do think time is ticking for this bull cycle. And I'd be actually very surprised if the bull cycle is actually going well into Q1 of the next year. But let's see where we go. I will relay the charts to you guys, because it's really looking like we're going to have one last euphoria blow off top for the bull cycle for Bitcoin and crypto assets. But before continuing on to the latter part of the video, I'm going to play a segment that sponsors the channel. If you guys are looking for the fastest trading bot to add to your suite, I do recommend the BaseBot. BaseBot is the fastest trading bot on any chain that have support for Ethereum, Base, Binance Smart Chain, etc. And personally, I use it for my trading suite for degen trading. It has the fastest transaction speeds, it has multi-wallet support, has support for Base, Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Solana, etc. And my most favorite thing about the bot is it has full anti-MEV protection, so you don't have to worry about getting sandwich attacked on any EVM chains. But when it comes to Base Trading Bot, it is the fastest Telegram trading bot, and personally I use it. Be sure to click on the link in the description below, and thank you for supporting the channel, and I will continue now to our next segment of this video. Alright, so next up is Toshi. Toshi has always been a really strong base native token. We've been holding higher lows basically since April of this year, and nothing has changed. I really do expect all-time highs for Toshi in the next few months. And really, when it comes to Toshi in the lower time frames, I really need to see a breakout point of that 0.00106 level to actually get breached. And once we see that level getting breached, I do expect acceleration to the upside to occur, where we actually have massive gold candles, because really there is zero reason to complicate it. As you guys can see, there's been barely any price action above this area. So I do expect things to get really fast and really explosive once we get above this. Because usually when we have low price action areas, we can expect volatility to really increase and expect some massive short squeezes to the upside, because there really isn't any major resistance areas. The resistance areas I would say is of course the 0.0106 area, and then the 15 region, as you guys can see, and then really after that is that major all-time high area. So once again, once this 106 area gets broken, I really do expect a massive move to that 1.5 region to get tagged, and then once we get above that, next target is all-time highs and beyond. Next up is Wormhole Token. Of course, Wormhole Token is the strongest fundamental project on Base Chain, with over 2.5 million users using its telecommunications protocol. Of course, when it comes to Wormhole Token, we have to look at the charts, because of course the charts tells us what is happening with the token. And once again, the charts are telling us there is a bullish divergence happening right now on Wormhole Token. And I do expect this is to continue out, and this just tells us there is seller exhaustion and a bottoming formation is in play for Wormhole Token, as well as Alien Base. Alien Base has also been doing daily divergences, and we actually had a nice little pop up to the upside. Of course, it's very tiny when you actually zoom out, but on an RSI perspective, we're actually broken out, which is really good to see, because of course that means there is sell exhaustion. But when it comes to resistance areas, as you guys can see, we've hit a major resistance point on the momentum, and we really need this to flip to the upside for Alien Base to actually have a full-on reversal. So that is something to note. So really, we have to break above this to expect new higher lows and higher highs to begin for Alien Base. If we just roll over from here, this might be another potential opportunity for Alien Base to actually print another bullish divergence, and then we can really get out of the rut and actually make new highs and higher lows and have a full-on proper reverse for Alien Base, because Alien Base has been consistently making lower highs and lower lows, which of course is quite bearish, but this bullish divergence might just be hinting us Alien Base is bottoming out. Next up is gold. Gold, of course, has been confirming a parabolic breakdown, and I have told you guys multiple times, every time gold has broken down and created a local top for the duration of this bull cycle, we've seen rotation happen from gold into higher risk on assets like Bitcoin, etc. So as long as gold ranges from here, I do expect Bitcoin to continue making higher highs and higher lows and really continue on its current reversal. And once we break all-time highs, I do expect gold's confirmation of ranging is put in place, and we can expect at least another month of euphoria for Bitcoin and other crypto assets. Next up is the bonus coin of the day, which is Zora. Zora is a major platform really getting pushed by the Base team. It's a very strong fundamental project, and it's heavily integrated within the Base app, and I really do think adoption for Zora is going to be absolutely explosive. But let's look at strictly at the charts. When it comes to the charts, let me just zoom out. We had a really strong parabolic move since July, where we actually went up. We went up technically 12x in a matter of, what was it, in about 23 days. So it was a massive move. That move had to get digested. So we had a really nice 70% decline, and we had a nice little pop up. And really what is happening right now, in my opinion, is buyer absorption. And what buyer absorption basically means is the price is trading generally sideways, but the daily RSI is actually going down. So this tells us that buyers are stepping in, holding the price, but the momentum is actually flipping to the downside. So it's actually quite bullish in my opinion, because as long as these lows hold, which is generally around the $380 million area, I would not be surprised Zora is going to end up breaking to new highs once this consolidation period is completed. If I was to guess how long this is going to take, it's probably going to take at least another 2 weeks, Because once again, a 12x is no joke. It needs time to actually digest to get all of those sellers out that actually made a really nice profit. And once those sellers are out, I do expect a major move to happen, which potentially might be the run and the catalyst to actually get us above $1 billion. If I was to draw a Fibonacci tool right here, yeah, so the next major resistance point after all-time highs is that $950 million area, and then after that is the $1.4 billion area. So once again, Zora is basically one of the stronger fundamental projects on base chain. It's literally being pushed by the base team, pushed by Coinbase, and is heavily integrated within the base app. So I would not be surprised Zora is one of the handful of tokens actually get beyond $1 billion once we have a proper base chain season. So exciting times, because really once Zora starts pumping, I would not be surprised other tokens within the base chain also start pumping, because we really need a new token that's beyond $1 billion to really get the attention base chain needs. Because in my opinion, as long as we have a few billion-dollar runners like Toshi, Zora, Womaba token, etc., we can really expect massive inflows to happen from other chains like Solana, etc., into base chain. Next up is the FedWatch tool. Very exciting times, because we're going to have a guaranteed rate cut for the next FOMC meeting, which is actually within the next 2 days, with 97% chance of having a 25 bips rate cut, which of course, in my opinion, backs our thesis that Q4 is going to be a very bullish quarter, and I would not be surprised we're going to have some massive rotation into risk on assets. And really, to back this as well, I do think time is ticking, because generally recessions happen on the third or fourth rate cut. And as you guys can see, our next rate cuts is the 10th of December and the 20th of January. So in my opinion, we're going to have a massive parabolic run to the upside, but it doesn't necessarily mean the bear market is far. I do think that stages of the bear market is being set, but we're going to have at least one more parabolic run to the upside, which will of course mean base nav token assets like Toshi, etc. we can have their last hoorah to multiple billions, hopefully. Of course, none of his financial advice, this is just my opinion, but I really do think a base chain will have another chance at having mass inflows and really nice multiples for their tokens on base chain. Next up is the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. Let me just give it a refresh. So as you guys can see, we're having another neutral reading, and this just backs our thesis that bottoming formations for the Fear and Greed Index usually takes at least a few weeks. And I have told you guys, as long as we make a new high above that 70 key region, that basically tells us the next leg is on, and I do expect mass euphoria to hit the charts, to hit our coins, and more than likely we can actually make new all-time highs. But once again, these bottom formations do take at least a month to play out, and I wouldn't be surprised another week or two of consolidation is to happen, and then we can have a really nice breakout to the upside and have some really nice euphoric readings, which of course mean our coins are probably going up to new highs. Next up is tweets. So first tweet is actually by me. Your daily reminder, whales are anticipating a base season and are heavily bidding the top meme of Toshi. Mysterious Buyer currently has a $600,000 USD buy order on Coinbase at the 0.008 level. I wonder who it is. So something to note is we're actually having a massive whale heavily bidding Toshi right now. They actually put a $600,000 order in today. And really this tells me two things. Either one, we're just having mass whale interest into Toshi, or two, he knows something. He possibly knows a listing is coming up, or maybe a massive catalyst. So there's that. There's my opinion on that. But at the end of the day, whales are really good for coins in my opinion, because they usually tend to hold for the longer term vision. And I would not be surprised this whale actually takes profits 1 billion and beyond. Because really, if we are going to get a proper base chain season, I would not be surprised Toshi's 1 billion and beyond, because it is the #1 base native meme coin. It is the strongest meme coin on base chain, and we can expect a base chain season to occur. And if that really does happen, I would not be surprised TVL and volley numbers for the chain 10x plus, which will of course trickle down into Toshi since it is the #1 meme coin on base. Next and final tweet is by CryptoFi. Ethereum seasonality shows promising Q4 based on 22 and 2023. So as you guys can see, 2023 we had a 90% appreciation for Ethereum, 24 had a 40%, and currently for Ethereum, we're sitting at 20%. But something to note is the past 2 years, Q4 has been very strong for Ethereum, and really the leg up is going to probably start now if it is going to happen the same way we did last 2 years. So look, when it comes to Ethereum, time is running, time is ticking out. And really, if we do get this massive leg up to the upside, especially if the appreciation is actually in between 40% and 90%, we can expect massive numbers to really flow into base chain, because of course, base chain is a high beta of Ethereum. If Ethereum is making new highs, we can expect a base native meme coins to really start pumping. We can expect Zora to start pumping, Alien Base, World Mobile Token, and Toshi. So there's that. There's all to the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to like and subscribe and comment down below if you guys have any questions. Hope you have a good day. Hope you have a good one. Peace.